Okay, folks, so in this film, which I'm just making for myself as a reminder for later, I'm going to be showing how to create this sort of gradient effect, which is actually just a load of cubes which are being instanced on a mesh line. Lots of them, 1,000. So it looks like a solid, solid thing. But obviously each one is getting a little different amount of emission brightness depending on its distance from the world origin, which is here. So yeah, it's a pretty cool thing. It looks like a solid line, but if I just drop this down to say 10, and then I'm going to have to do something like this, and then you can see that it's is actually separate cubes. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and show how I did this. Okay, so let's start this off. We're going to make a new geometry node setup. We're going to not need this. We're going to need a mesh line. Let's hook that up. Okay, we're going to switch our viewport to front, like that. Then we're going to put some cubes on this mesh, like this. Instance on points. Drop that in there. Drop that on there, if I can. Okay, let's bring these down a little bit in size for now. Okie dokie. What's next? Okay, so we're going to do position, so we can get the position of our instances in here. We're going to need a math node, a vector math node over here. We're going to plug this in here. And basically what we're doing is we're going to compare, put this on distance, going to compare the position of each instance to the world origin, which is at 0. And because this is all 0 here, I don't have to put anything in here. It's just, this is giving us a world origin on 0. So there's that. Right, we need to do this and go to group and create an output from this geometry node setup. So we're going to call this one distance, and that comes up here as distance. Yep. What's next? Let's get a material going. Over to the shader editor. Let's get rid of that and make an emission shader. Give ourselves a nice yellow this time and flip on it over to rendered mode. All right, we can now go back to geometry nodes. So because we are using geometry nodes, the material is not showing up. So we have to hook it up over here. So set material. Okay. Like that. Next, we need to... Okay, so we have to do something with this. For this, we go to geometry nodes here in the modifiers, and we now have distance here. We need to give this a name. We're going to call this what are we going to call it? Let's call it dist. And then back over into the shader editor, and we need to get up an attribute here. We need to type in the same thing here as over here, and we can hook up the factor into the strength. Okay, back over to geometry nodes, and we're going to hook up this for now into here. Okay, so the reason we're now no longer seeing anything is because we have to realize these instances. Okay, so that's that. Let's just darken our world down a little bit. Okay, so what I want to do, I want to make, we're seeing individual blocks. I want to make this like a solid color. So I'm going to increase the count to 500. And then I've got to scale it. Got to scale it on the Z. No, that's not what I meant to do. Let's think about this for a second. Counts. No, here I've got to scale the mesh. So we're going to do a transform. It goes in there, and we can scale this on the Z. So now, because it's not controllable, so I have to hook up something else into here to make this a little bit easier. So we're going to bring in a math node. Sorry, not a math node, math node. And we're going to divide. And now we have a little bit more control. Let's bring this down here. So now we've got 500 cubes, and we'll bump it up to 1,000. Let's just save this. Save. Oh, okay. Again, because I put up bumped up 1,000, I have to again reduce the size even more, like that. All right. So we want to start now mapping our amount of emission along this and be able to control it. So we need a mapping node for that. Map range, plug that in there. So basically what we want to know is what's the distance from here to here. That, not that one. This one. The distance is 24 meters. So our range over here is going to be from 0 to 24. So we can turn it around the other way, I think, can't we? Yeah. Okay, so the further the further away they are, the darker they're going to get. And what we can do is we can now move our sort of gradient along the curve like that. Okay, so this is all fine and dandy, but there's actually a lot more range of brightness than we have here. We're going up to 1, emission 1, but you can go way, way higher than that. So what we're going to do is we're going to put in a power function like this. and we are going to bump this up to like here. Okay, and then after that, we're going to multiply it by a rather large amount, 100. Okay, so now let me just turn off our guides here so we can see it a bit better. And maybe we can make the cube a little bit wider size on the Z. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, again, so now we can still move it along. So now what we've got here is, and I think we can actually even go higher. We can bump up we can bump this up to 200. And now you can see we have quite a lot of control here. And now we can move this along there. Okay, what we can also do for fun, let's just check our cursor world origin. Okay, and then let us create an empty here. We need to turn back on our guide so we can see it. Okay, and back to the cube. Let's get rid of, no, not get rid of anything. Let's put in an object info here. Plug in the empty, and now nothing changes because our empty is at the same location as this. But now, just for fun, not that, go back to the empty, just for fun, and now we can move it, and we can see that we're actually changing the color by moving the empty, which is pretty cool. But let's get rid of that for now. And the last thing I think I want to show is that we can plug in a float curve here. And what I noticed is that this works best when you keep this min max to 1. So we're doing all the bumping up of the emission level after it, like really pushing it crazy high to get this white, completely oversaturated color. And then you can mess around with this here. And you can do some pretty weird stuff. I think that just covers it. So I'm going to be making another video soon where I'm going to be showing this being used in some kind of 70s Robert Abel type text, light streak stuff, because I wanted to work out how to dim instances. Basically how to dim them based on their distance to the camera. I mean, it's a pretty simple thing, and there's probably another way to do it, but this for now is the best way that I can do it. Okay, so just a little addendum to the video. One thing which I forgot to mention was that the reason that I actually want to be able to push the amount of emission into these really crazy high values is because I want to be able to get this white saturated color, which works really well with when you put a bloom on. Then you get these really bright white or whitey bluey colors. And when you turn that off and you just work with normal levels of emission, so from 0 to 1, you just get this, and then you can bump up the bloom like this. But it's a different effect. This is also actually pretty cool. It's like a really different kind of effect. But yeah, in order to get that really crazy bright effect, you need to get into these really high values. And I found out that if I started to if I tried to do it here, that also works. But then it was just less controllable, the curve. I mean, this works now pretty good actually for some reason. But yeah, now what you can see here is that we're not getting like a smooth line here from very bright to black. It's just not good. Whereas if I keep this on 1, unmute these, then you see we get a much smoother gradient along the whole line. Yeah, that's it.